I picked up this, an Acer Chromebook. I want to dive into build quality, some light gaming, and dive even further into why I think that ChromeOS absolutely sucks ass. For those of you who've come across this video and just want to get to the point, there's going to be a link in the description to a much shorter video. All right, first I want to dive into exactly why I decided I was gonna buy a Chromebook. I was in search of a lightweight laptop. An Alienware gaming laptop, or any gaming laptop for that matter, is cumbersome. Their power supplies are big, as they would say, chunguses. They're huge, they're bricks. So I picked up this Acer, really lightweight. It'll have all the Google apps I need, like Google Keep, Docs, web surfing, while also being fairly well at streaming and YouTube, and obviously. And I found this one on Amazon. I opted to get it refurbished because the price was, I think, $175 versus $230 new. Plus, I had $30 in Amazon points, which brought this laptop down to $160 with tax. Oh wow, it looks like the laptop comes with a bag, which looks like it possibly is unused. It's still in its Acer case. Let's get into quality, and this Chromebook from Acer is completely made of plastic. Now, when it came out of the box, surprisingly for something that is refurbished, there's not a mark on it. It does have quite a bit of flex to it. The keyboard, This one just feels kind of like membranes, even though it's probably not. The mouse pad, that's pretty good. It actually apparently has ocean, what's that say? Ocean glass touchpad, whatever that means, but it is pretty smooth. Doesn't really collect any fingerprints. I wonder if over time this will get those hot spots that my Alienware have. The screen itself, quality is pretty good. I have no complaints about the screen. The screen is pretty vibrant. It does look pretty good while streaming videos. As far as I/O is concerned, we got a Type-C for power, USB 3.0 on this side. We have an SD card slot and a headphone jack. On the other side, the left side of the right side, I need to learn my directions, USB 3.0 as well, and a Type-C Kensington lock on this side as well, and a battery monitor right there. All right, while I'm sitting here over at my computer, let's go over a little bit of specs. I got the Amazon listing up because heaven forbid I ever remember anything important. Obviously, it's an Acer Chromebook Plus 14-inch touchscreen laptop. It has an Intel Core i3 N305, 8 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM. We got 512 gig PCIe Gen 4 solid state drive, and we're gonna find out that is bullshit. The Acer listing has that, but when I went down to the corner there at the bottom and selected the $175 used refurbished model that I later on found out came from a different company, they shipped me a 128 gig model, which when you click that, the listing didn't change. It still said it was a 512. Now, granted, I did message that company and they told me I could either send the computer back or they'd give me a $40 refund. And I opted for the $40 refund because I wanted to make this video, even though I should have sent the damn thing back. Now, in the listing, for some odd reason, it says it has an NVIDIA GeForce GT 330M, unless somehow the Acer model did have that, but that's not what's in here. Yeah, I got IDA 64 up here. It has an Intel Vulkan 1.3.269, Intel graphics, processor, display, here we go. It's a it says 1920 by 1080. It is a 1.8 gigahertz. Process count is 1. Now that the quality and specs are out of the way, let's talk gaming. Genshin Impact, I tried it on here, no go. It actually took forever just to get the game set up with everything downloaded. It would keep freezing and shutting off. So I've had to keep opening and closing it, which will become a kind of a theme with some of the games that you download. But when I finally got to where I needed to get into the game, it just crashes. Then I moved on to Diablo Immortal. Then I moved on to Asphalt 9, which that game runs on everything under the sun. As you can see, the controller natively works. I can drift with the controller. You'd think if the game works with a controller on Android, which some of these games say that they have controller support, Genshin Impact, which didn't run, so that doesn't matter. You'd think it would work, which leads us into the next game, Destiny Rising. While installing Destiny Rising, the game had to be shut off, restarted, shut off, restarted, shut off, restart, shut off again, and restart before the game decided it was actually going to load. I don't know if that was my internet connection. I know my internet connection sucks, but I think it was Chrome. Every time you start Destiny Rising, it's downloading some sort of resources. I just want to play the game. Now moving on to emulation. Obviously you got a Chromebook or any device and you're like, hey, what the hell? If anything, I got a cheap device that I can now emulate on. But unfortunately on this machine, even though I think the specs are pretty good for emulation and probably should run them, but it does not have a dedicated graphics card, obviously. It's actually using Intel integrated graphics in here. But I tried to download a PlayStation 2 emulator and it wouldn't even load the ISO. Now these were ISO images that I've used in another video on my AliExpress gaming laptop and they worked perfectly fine. Would not load on the PPSS22 emulator in here. So then I moved on to Sega Saturn and I downloaded the Sega Saturn emulator. Yaba, I'm still butchering it, yeah, but Yaba Shenshiro 2. Bug ran perfectly fine until I took the frame skip off and then it was running pretty horrible. And all your 8-bit and 16-bit games are gonna work perfectly fine. Now let's get into the point of this whole video. The negatives, the reasons why I think ChromeOS absolutely sucks ass. Although I think it has potential, but we'll get into that soon. When you're in certain apps such as the Play Store, you can't really use the mouse to scroll with unless there's some sort of magical thing that I don't know about. But if you scroll with the arrow keys, you'll see a scroll bar show up, but then when you go to move over with the mouse to go grab that scroll bar, it doesn't do anything. So you almost have to either use the arrow keys or the touchscreen to scroll through the menu. But if the touchscreen decides one day that it's not going to work anymore, then you have to use the arrow keys, which is quite annoying to maneuver through a menu with arrow keys. And it kind of defeats the purpose of having a laptop. Now, another thing that I noticed, and this is probably just an issue with this specific laptop, which is why I should have returned it instead of taking the $40 refund, is that there's a lot of artifacting on the screen. And I don't know if that's software based, if I completely factory reset, will that go away? Now the plus to that is when you're gaming, it doesn't happen. And when you're streaming movies, it doesn't seem to happen. Another thing, it's a gaming laptop and most gamers, if they're not using the keyboard, they're gonna wanna use a controller such as this Gillikit KK3 Max, which I've done a review on. Really good alternative to the Xbox Series controllers. And even though Google Chrome has this built-in controller mapper, you can't seem to map any controls on the controller, just the keyboard. You also can't seem to map any of the buttons on the mouse. So I ended up finding out that there is an option in the menu of Diablo Immortal where you can activate a controller. But that led me to find one more flaw that makes ChromeOS absolutely suck. For some odd reason, when you connect the controller to here, it just keeps connecting and disconnecting, connecting and disconnecting, connecting and disconnecting, and connecting and disconnecting. Another thing also is it just seems like Google took the Android system from your mobile phone, ported it over to a laptop, and then kind of started to tweak things here and there. It's not like they went in and completely from scratch decided that they were gonna build a Chrome operating system strictly for laptops or PCs. So there'll be little stupid junk like where it loads up in these little square bars. And yes, they did come in and their little dashboard, if you go and click at the top there, you can go and hit screen size and then hit resizable and it'll resize. But the only issue with that is when you do resize it, it's kind of pixelated because these games were designed to run on a small, like 5 to 7 inch screen and not this 14-inch screen. What other? There were more issues. Oh, another thing, which is a personal problem. You have the little menu button over to the side here. And you know how you're used to using a PC and you go over here thinking that the power button is going to be there to shut it down? It's not. Now, I will say I've used Linux, and a lot of the times Linux does. This is how Linux is. It'll have its own setting task over here where you power it off. But my stupid ass keeps going over here and clicking this thinking I'm going to shut the damn computer down. It's just me. I'm stupid. Well, my final thoughts on Chrome OS. With all due respect, it absolutely sucks ass. Just like I said in the beginning and in the middle and now at the end, Chrome OS, it sucks. I think I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I think that Chrome OS has potential. For one, these laptops are very lightweight and also they're extremely fast. Like the boot up time is really quick. Well, I mean, when you press that button, it does take a few seconds for it to get to the Chrome OS thing, and then it starts pretty fast. The opening and closing of apps is really smooth. They load up really fast. Games load up pretty fast. Once they finally decide to finish downloading whatever they need to run, I kind of like the fact that I can connect this to my actual Android cell phone. So it's kind of like you stay in the same ecosystem. Down here, I could read my messages from my phone. Amongst other things, I can unlock the laptop via the phone as well. So kind of being in that same ecosystem like the Mac ecosystem is kind of nice. It's just not there yet. And according to this little research that I did here, Chrome OS is pretty much, it was announced in 2009, and then it distributed to pilot program participants in December 2010, and first commercial Chromebook was released in June 15, 2011. So they've been at this for quite some time, and you'd think by now all these quirks would be hashed out. It'd be kind of nice if Google would actually fix all these I sounded like my mother. Google would actually fix all these issues that you have with Chrome OS, and it would actually function pretty smoothly on this, and they would get developers on board to design games and apps specifically for Chromebook. It would kind of be like Steam, where it would say this game is compatible with Chrome OS. If you have any questions on this Acer laptop, or there's a game that you'd like to see me test, let me know in the comments down below. I'll get that on the We Deem Gaming Community Facebook. Don't forget to go over there and check that out. Join, submit some of your reviews, things that you've picked up, controllers, computers, new gaming hardware, anything. Put it up there. I want to hear your opinion, because after all, We Deem is about all of us, the community, not just this dumb fool right here. The link to this laptop will be in the description down below. I don't suggest you buy it, but if you want to buy it for the same reasons that I did, that link will be there. As for now, I'll see you in the next one, where once again, who the hell knows, with this random thought in my head will think up to review next.
Guys, instead of staring at my ugly mug, why don't you go ahead and check out one of our other videos? 1, 2, I'll wait. My busted face ain't going nowhere.